Imagine trusting someone with your life, only to be betrayed at the most critical moment. History is filled with stories of treachery, but some betrayals stand out as truly infamous. Today, we're diving into the most shocking betrayals in ancient history. Welcome to History Lab Archives. In today's episode, we're uncovering some of the most infamous betrayals that changed the course of history. From Julius Caesar's assassination to the treachery that led to the fall of empires, we'll explore how these acts of betrayal have left their mark on history. In this video, we'll delve into the stories of Brutus and Julius Caesar, Ephialtes and the Battle of Thermopylae, Ganelon and Roland, Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot, the betrayal of Artabanus and Xerxes I, Harold Hardrada and Tostig Godwinson, and the Peppe Conspiracy. We'll examine the motives, the treachery, and the consequences of these betrayals. If you're fascinated by history and the dramatic twists of fate, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. And be sure to share your thoughts on these betrayals in the comments below. Brutus and Julius Caesar. Let's start with perhaps the most famous betrayal in history, the assassination of Julius Caesar by his friend Brutus. Julius Caesar was a military general and statesman whose actions transformed the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire. His conquests expanded Rome's territories, and his political reforms aimed to address Rome's vast inequities. However, his growing power and title of dictator for life alarmed many senators who feared he would overthrow the Republic and establish a monarchy. Caesar's ambitious policies and concentration of power increasingly alienated the traditional Republican aristocracy. Among the conspirators was Brutus, a senator and once a close friend of Caesar. Despite their personal relationship, Brutus joined the plot to assassinate Caesar, believing it was the only way to save the Republic. On the Ides of March 44 BC, the conspirators attacked Caesar in the Senate House. Caesar was stabbed 23 times, and according to legend, his last words were, "Et tu, Brute," expressing his shock at Brutus's betrayal. This act of treachery was not just political but deeply personal, symbolizing the ultimate betrayal of trust. The assassination plunged Rome into chaos. Far from saving the Republic, it led to a series of civil wars. Ultimately, Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, later Augustus, emerged victorious and established the Roman Empire. Brutus's betrayal is remembered as a tragic act of treachery that dramatically altered Roman history. It's a story that has been retold countless times, symbolizing the ultimate betrayal of trust and friendship. The phrase "et tu, Brute" has since become synonymous with acts of unexpected betrayal. Imagine your best friend plotting to kill you because they think it's for the greater good. Guess that means no more invites to the Senate's annual toga party. What do you think about Brutus's decision to betray Caesar? Was he a hero trying to save the Republic or a villain driven by jealousy? Let me know in the comments. Ancient historians like Plutarch in The Life of Caesar and Suetonius in The 12 Caesars provide detailed accounts of Caesar's assassination. Their writings offer invaluable insights into the motivations and consequences of this act of betrayal. Modern historians, such as Adrian Goldsworthy in Caesar, Life of a Colossus, provide further analysis of this pivotal event and its lasting impact on Roman history, ensuring a comprehensive understanding of the complexity behind the betrayal. While Brutus's betrayal of Julius Caesar is one of the most famous acts of treachery in history, it's not the only betrayal that had a profound impact on the course of events. Next, we move to ancient Greece, where a single act of treachery turned the tide of one of the most famous battles in history, Ephialtes and the Battle of Thermopylae. Ancient Greece was no stranger to betrayal, and Ephialtes' actions at Thermopylae stand as a stark reminder of how one man's treachery can alter the course of history. The Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC was a key conflict during the Greco-Persian Wars. King Leonidas of Sparta led a small Greek force, including his famous 300 Spartans, to defend the narrow pass of Thermopylae against the massive Persian army led by King Xerxes I. The Greeks managed to hold their ground for 2 days, inflicting significant losses on the Persians. Their strategic position in the narrow pass leveraged the terrain to neutralize the numerical superiority of the Persian forces. The turning point came when Ephialtes, a Greek seeking favor and reward from Xerxes, revealed a hidden mountain path that bypassed the narrow pass. This act of betrayal allowed the Persians to outflank the Greek forces. Leonidas and his men fought valiantly, but were ultimately surrounded and killed. Ephialtes' name became synonymous with treachery, and he was later hunted down and killed for his betrayal. His actions not only led to the Greek defeat at Thermopylae, but also became a symbol of ultimate treason in Greek culture. The immediate consequence of Ephialtes' betrayal was the fall of Thermopylae and the subsequent sacking of Athens. However, the heroic stand of the Greeks at Thermopylae provided a powerful rallying point, inspiring the Greek city-states to unite against the Persian threat. The betrayal and battle are immortalized in literature and film, symbolizing the ultimate sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. The legacy of Thermopylae continues to inspire military and cultural narratives around the world. Imagine being so desperate for a pat on the back that you sell out your entire country. Ephialtes definitely wasn't getting a Most Loyal Citizen award anytime soon. Do you think Ephialtes' betrayal was driven more by greed or fear? How would you have reacted in his place? Let's debate this in the comments. Herodotus, known as the father of history, provides a comprehensive account of the Battle of Thermopylae in his work, Histories. His detailed narrative captures the heroism and treachery of the battle. Modern interpretations, such as Stephen Pressfield's Gates of Fire, offer dramatic retellings that emphasize the human elements of Ephialtes' betrayal and its impact on the course of the war. These sources provide a robust framework for understanding the historical and cultural significance of the event. Ephialtes' betrayal led to the fall of Thermopylae and the eventual sacking of Athens. But treachery isn't confined to ancient Greece. Now let's journey to medieval Europe, where the betrayal of Ganelon led to the tragic ambush of Roland at the Battle of Roncevaux Pass. Ganelon and Roland. In medieval Europe, the betrayal of Roland by his stepfather Ganelon during the Battle of Roncevaux Pass is a tale filled with jealousy, revenge, and tragedy. Roland, a legendary hero and the nephew of Charlemagne, was a key figure in the Carolingian court. Known for his bravery and military prowess, Roland was a celebrated warrior. Ganelon, Roland's stepfather, harbored deep resentment towards him. This animosity reached its peak when Roland nominated Ganelon for a dangerous diplomatic mission to the Saracens, which Ganelon perceived as a death sentence. Their relationship, strained by jealousy and distrust, set the stage for one of the most notorious betrayals in medieval history. Furious and vengeful, Ganelon conspired with the Saracens to betray Roland. He revealed the plans and movements of the Frankish rearguard, leading to an ambush at Roncevaux Pass in 778. The rearguard, including Roland and other knights, was slaughtered in the ensuing battle. Roland's valiant last stand, blowing his oliphant horn to summon help, became legendary. Despite his efforts, reinforcements arrived too late, and the rearguard was decimated. Ganelon's betrayal directly resulted in the tragic loss of some of Charlemagne's most trusted warriors. Ganelon's betrayal was eventually discovered, and he was executed for his treachery. The Battle of Roncevaux Pass resulted in significant losses for Charlemagne's army, with estimates suggesting that over 20,000 soldiers were killed. This blow weakened Charlemagne's forces and strained his resources. The tragic ambush of Roland was immortalized in the Song of Roland, one of the oldest surviving works of French literature. This epic poem not only depicts the heroism of Roland, but also serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of betrayal. The story has endured through the centuries, illustrating the timeless nature of loyalty, honor, and the consequences of treachery. The loss at Roncevaux Pass marked a significant event in Charlemagne's campaign, underscoring the far-reaching impact of personal vendettas on national history. Picture someone so petty, they'd rather betray an empire than let a grudge go. Ganelon could have really used a therapist. Have you ever heard of a betrayal as personal and devastating as Ganelon's? What would you have done in Roland's place? Share your thoughts below. The Song of Roland, an epic poem from the 11th century, is the primary source recounting this betrayal. The poem, filled with dramatic and vivid imagery, captures the essence of the betrayal and the heroism of Roland. Scholars like Dorothy L. Sayers, in her translation of the Song of Roland, provide detailed analysis and context, making this medieval tale accessible to modern readers. Historical analyses, such as those by Robert F. Cook in The Sense of the Song of Roland, offer deeper insights into the cultural and historical significance of the events, including the strategic and military repercussions of the Battle of Roncevaux Pass. Ganelon's betrayal of Roland and the devastating ambush at Roncevaux Pass remind us of the far-reaching consequences of personal vendettas. Now let's explore another infamous act of treachery, this time from early modern England. We'll delve into the story of Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot. Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot. Jumping ahead to early modern England, the infamous Gunpowder Plot, led by Guy Fawkes, was a daring and dramatic attempt to change the course of the nation's history. In the early 17th century, religious tensions between Catholics and Protestants in England were at an all-time high. King James I, a Protestant, faced significant opposition from Catholic factions who felt persecuted and marginalized. A group of English Catholics, led by Robert Catesby, hatched a plot to assassinate the king and restore a Catholic monarchy. Among the conspirators was Guy Fawkes, a military man with expertise in explosives who was tasked with executing the plan. The conspirators leased a cellar beneath the House of Lords and stockpiled 36 barrels of gunpowder. The plan was to detonate the explosives during the state opening of Parliament on November 5, 1605, killing the king, his heir, and many government officials. However, the plot was foiled when an anonymous letter warned a Catholic lord to avoid the event. Guy Fawkes was discovered guarding the explosives and was promptly arrested. Under torture, he revealed the names of his co-conspirators, leading to their capture and execution. The Gunpowder Plot had profound and lasting consequences for England. In the immediate aftermath, there was a nationwide manhunt for the remaining conspirators, resulting in their capture, trial, and gruesome executions. The discovery of the plot led to a significant increase in anti-Catholic sentiment, resulting in stricter laws against Catholics, including the enforcement of recusancy fines and exclusion from public office. Politically, the failed plot reinforced King James I's authority and justified his harsh policies against Catholics, further entrenching the Protestant establishment in England. The annual celebration of November 5th, known as Guy Fawkes Night or Bonfire Night, became a public reminder of the failed conspiracy. Effigies of Fawkes are still burned in bonfires, symbolizing the triumph of the state over treason. This event remains deeply ingrained in British cultural memory, highlighting the long-term impact of the plot on national identity and collective consciousness. The phrase, "Remember, remember," the 5th of November still echoes as a reminder of the conspiracy, serving as a cautionary tale against political and religious extremism. Imagine plotting for months to blow up Parliament, only to be caught because someone couldn't keep a secret. Not exactly the mastermind he hoped to be. Do you think the Gunpowder Plot was doomed from the start, or could it have succeeded under different circumstances? What's your opinion on the legacy of Guy Fawkes? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Primary sources like the Gunpowder Plot book provide detailed accounts of the conspiracy and its discovery. Historians such as Antonia Fraser in The Gunpowder Plot, Terror and Faith in 1605, and Alan Haynes in The Gunpowder Plot, Faith in Rebellion, shedding light on the motivations and implications of this infamous act of treachery. The failure of the Gunpowder Plot reminds us how one act of betrayal can shake an entire nation. Now, let's shift our focus to the ancient Persian Empire, where the treachery of a high-ranking official led to the assassination of a king and the destabilization of an empire. Betrayal of Artabanus and Xerxes I. In the heart of the Persian Empire, Artabanus's betrayal of King Xerxes I reveals the deadly power struggles and ambitions that can tear an empire apart from within. Artabanus was a trusted advisor and the commander of the royal bodyguard under Xerxes I, the Persian king known for his ambitious but ultimately disastrous invasion of Greece. Despite his position of trust, Artabanus harbored ambitions of his own and plotted to seize the throne. His rise to power was marked by his cunning nature and ability to navigate the intricacies of the Persian court. In 465 BC, Artabanus struck. He assassinated Xerxes I, taking advantage of his close proximity to the king. Artabanus then sought to solidify his power by blaming the murder on Crown Prince Darius, manipulating the court and stirring internal conflict. His scheme initially succeeded, causing significant turmoil within the royal family and court, as suspicion and mistrust grew among the king's advisors and relatives. The immediate aftermath of Xerxes' assassination was chaos and a power struggle within the Persian Empire. Artabanus' deceit was eventually uncovered by Artaxerxes I, Xerxes' other son, who saw through the conspiracy and avenged his father's death. Artabanus was executed, but the damage was done. The assassination and ensuing instability weakened the Achaemenid Empire, contributing to internal strife and vulnerability to external threats. This period of turmoil paved the way for future revolts and invasions, including the eventual conquest by Alexander the Great. The betrayal by Artabanus not only marked the end of a king, but also signaled the beginning of the decline of a mighty empire. Trying to take over an empire by killing the king and framing his son, Artabanus' plan makes Game of Thrones look like child's play. Do you think Artabanus believed he could really get away with such a bold move, or was he just delusional? What's your theory? Comment below. Herodotus's Histories and Ctesias's Persica provide detailed accounts of Xerxes' assassination and Artabanus's role. These ancient texts offer valuable insights into the court intrigues and the political landscape of the time. Modern historians like Pierre Briant in From Cyrus to Alexander provide comprehensive analyses of the political ramifications of this betrayal, shedding light on the broader impact of Artabanus's actions on the Achaemenid Empire's stability and decline. The assassination of Xerxes I by his trusted advisor Artabanus highlights the devastating impact of betrayal within the highest echelons of power. Now let's explore a betrayal from the Viking Age, where familial bonds were shattered by ambition. The story of Harald Hardrada and Tostig Godwinson. During the Viking Age, the alliance and subsequent betrayal between Harald Hardrada and Tostig Godwinson highlight how ambition and family feuds can lead to dramatic consequences on the battlefield. Tostig Godwinson was the exiled brother of Harold Godwinson, who became King of England in 1066. Driven by a desire to reclaim his earldom and settle scores with his brother, Tostig sought the support of Harald Hardrada, the King of Norway. Harold, known for his military prowess and ambition, saw an opportunity to invade England and expand his influence. Their alliance was forged out of mutual interests, Tostig's desire for revenge and Harold's ambition to conquer. In September 1066, Harold and Tostig launched an invasion of England, landing with a large force. They initially achieved success, defeating an English army at the Battle of Fulford. However, King Harold Godwinson quickly marched his forces north and caught the invaders by surprise at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. Despite their fierce resistance, Harold and Tostig were defeated, and both were killed in the battle. Tostig's betrayal of his own brother had dire consequences, not only leading to his own death, but also weakening England's defences against the impending Norman invasion. The Battle of Stamford Bridge was a decisive moment in English history. Although Harold Godwinson emerged victorious, his army was severely weakened and exhausted. This left England vulnerable to the Norman invasion led by William the Conqueror, who landed in England just 3 weeks later. Harold's forces were unable to repel this new threat, leading to the Norman conquest of England at the Battle of Hastings. Tostig's betrayal and the subsequent battles significantly altered the course of English history, marking the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of Norman dominance. The ripple effects of this betrayal reshaped the social, political, and cultural landscape of England for centuries. Imagine betraying your own brother and teaming up with a Viking king, only to end up losing everything. Talk about a backfire. Tostig certainly didn't get the Brother of the Year award. Do you think Tostig's ambition justified his betrayal, or was he simply blinded by revenge? What would you have done in Harold Godwinson's place? Let me know in the comments. Primary sources such as the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle provide detailed accounts of the events leading up to and following the Battle of Stamford Bridge. Historians like Michael Wood in Search of the Dark Ages and Mark Morris in The Norman Conquest offer comprehensive analyses of the political and military context of this period, shedding light on the significance of Tostig's betrayal and its far-reaching consequences. The defeat at Stamford Bridge and the subsequent Norman conquest underscore the dramatic consequences of Tostig's betrayal. Now, let's travel to Renaissance Italy to uncover the Pazzi Conspiracy, a plot that shook Florence to its core. The Pazzi Conspiracy. Finally, in Renaissance Italy, the audacious Pazzi Conspiracy aimed to topple the powerful Medici family, showcasing the intense political rivalries and deadly plots of the era. During the late 15th century, Florence was under the de facto rule of the Medici family, with Lorenzo de' Medici, known as Lorenzo the Magnificent, at its helm. The Medici were not only powerful bankers, but also significant political figures. Their influence, however, bred resentment among rival families, including the Pazzi, who coveted the Medici's power and wealth. The Pazzi, seeking to end Medici dominance, hatched a plot to assassinate Lorenzo and his brother Giuliano during Easter Sunday Mass in 1478. The conspirators, including members of the Pazzi family, clergy, and even Pope Sixtus IV, planned the attack meticulously. On April 26, 1478, as the Medici brothers attended Mass at the Florence Cathedral, the conspirators struck. Giuliano was brutally murdered, but Lorenzo managed to escape with serious injuries. The assassination attempt, intended to be swift and decisive, instead descended into chaos. Lorenzo's supporters quickly rallied, capturing and executing many of the conspirators on the spot. The failed assassination attempt had immediate and severe repercussions. The Pazzi family was subjected to brutal retribution. Their properties were seized, and many family members were executed or exiled. The conspiracy also strained relations between Florence and the Papal States, leading to a series of conflicts known as the Pazzi War. Lorenzo's survival and subsequent actions solidified his power, and he used the incident to further entrench the Medici's control over Florence. The Pazzi conspiracy is remembered as a stark example of political intrigue and the dangers of ambition and betrayal during the Renaissance. Imagine trying to take down one of the most powerful families in Europe during a church service and failing spectacularly. The Pazzi learned the hard way that some plans are better left on paper. Do you think the Pazzi conspiracy had any chance of success, or was it doomed from the start? How would you have handled the fallout if you were Lorenzo de' Medici? Share your thoughts in the comments. Primary sources like The History of Florence by Niccolo Machiavelli provide detailed accounts of the Pazzi conspiracy and its aftermath. Historians such as Laura Martinez in April Blood Florence and the Plot Against the Medicis offer in-depth analyses of the political and social context of the conspiracy, shedding light on the motivations and implications of this dramatic event in Renaissance history. Today, we journeyed through some of the most infamous betrayals in ancient history, from Brutus's shocking betrayal of Julius Caesar to Ephialtes' treachery at Thermopylae. Each act of treachery had profound and far-reaching consequences. We explored the personal vendetta of Ganelon against Roland, the ambitious plot of Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot, the deadly betrayal by Artabanus that led to the assassination of Xerxes I, the fraternal betrayal of Tostig Godwinson, and the audacious Pazzi conspiracy against the Medici family. These stories of betrayal remind us that throughout history, the lust for power, revenge, and personal gain has driven individuals to commit acts of treachery that have reshaped nations and altered the course of history. Betrayal is a timeless theme that continues to fascinate us because it strikes at the very heart of human relationships and trust. These events serve as cautionary tales about the destructive power of ambition and the devastating impact of broken trust. If you enjoyed this dive into the dark side of history, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We love hearing from you, so let us know in the comments which betrayal you found most shocking, or if there are other infamous betrayals you think we should cover in the future. Thank you for watching History Lab Archives, and stay tuned for more fascinating historical tales.